Matthew 7:15. Beware of false prophets who come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly are ravenous wolves. You will know them by their fruits. Today, we talk about the grifters, the shapeshifters, the politicians who looked you in the eye and told you exactly what you wanted to hear. Got your vote, got your money, got your trust, and then became the exact opposite of everything they promised. The veil has been lifted, and what's underneath is just ugly. Every politician adjusts their positions over time. That's normal. People evolve, circumstances change. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about something different. I'm talking about people who ran on an entire identity, a philosophy, a set of values, a promise to a specific community, and then flipped so hard it gave the whole country whiplash. These aren't people who evolved. These are people who performed. They put on the costume, played the part, got the role, and then took off the mask. And the people who believed them left standing there holding an empty bag. I want to talk about three of them. Three wolves in sheep's clothing, and I want to be clear. This isn't about party loyalty. I don't care what party you belong to. I care about honesty. I care about keeping your word. I care about not using people's trust as a stepping stone to your own agenda. Wolf number one, John Fetterman. Let's start with Mr. Fetterman, because this one stings the most. And it stings because a lot of people, good people, progressive people, working class people, genuinely believed in this man. Remember the campaign, the hoodie, the shorts, the tattoos, the mayor of Braddock, Pennsylvania, one of the poorest towns in the state? He wasn't polished. He wasn't slick. Felt real, genuine. He ran on being a champion of forgotten communities, workers' rights, healthcare, fighting for the little guy. Bernie Sanders endorsed him. Progressives poured their hearts and their wallets into his campaign. And when he beat Dr. Oz, a millionaire snake oil salesman, it felt like a genuine win for the people. And then the mask came off. After October 7th, John Fetterman didn't just support Israel. He became one of the most aggressive pro-war voices in the entire Senate. He draped himself in an Israeli flag. He waved it at protesters demanding a ceasefire. He wallpapered his office with Israeli hostage posters while ignoring the tens of thousands of Palestinian civilians being killed. His own former staffers, the people who got him elected, published a letter calling it a gutting betrayal. They wrote, "These are not the values we believed you to hold. On the trail, your overarching promise was to forgotten communities. You can't be a champion of forgotten communities if you cheerlead this war and the consequent destruction of the Palestinian communities." But it got worse. He was the only Democrat to vote against the Wars Powers Act, the law that would have required congressional approval before launching a war. The only Democrat. He was the sole Democrat to refuse to sign a letter demanding answers after American airstrikes hit a school in Iran that killed over 100 children. A school. Children. He told NBC News in his own words, "I'm not a progressive." The man whose entire campaign was built on progressive energy, whose entire base was progressive voters, who raised progressive money, who earned progressive endorsements, now says he's not a progressive? He visited Mar-a-Lago. He suggested Biden should pardon Trump's felony convictions. He called Trump's idea to buy Greenland pretty reasonable. He praised Trump sending 2,000-pound bombs to Israel. Donald Trump Jr. called him based. When Donald Trump's son is complimenting you, you and your mind have left the freaking building. John Fetterman didn't evolve. He revealed. The hoodie was a costume, the working class hero was a character, and the people of Pennsylvania were duped. The forgotten communities he promised to fight for got forgotten all over again. Because he's a clown, he's a wolf, and he's a jackass. Number two, Tulsi Gabbard. And this one is a masterclass in the long con. Tulsi Gabbard was a Democratic congresswoman from Hawaii. She served on the Armed Services Committee. 2016, she made headlines for resigning from the DNC to endorse Bernie Sanders. She positioned herself as an anti-war progressive. She called out regime change wars. She challenged the military-industrial complex. She went on Joe Rogan and sounded like the most reasonable person in the room. And progressives loved her. Heck, I loved her. I thought she was fantastic. I watched her in that debate run to the left of Kamala Harris and, let's be honest, ran circles around her. Anti-war voters loved her. She was the outsider fighting the establishment, the truth teller who wasn't afraid to change or challenge her own party. Then the transformation began. She left the Democratic Party completely, started appearing on conservative media, endorsed Donald Trump, and was rewarded with a cabinet position, Director of National Intelligence, the person responsible for coordinating intelligence across every agency in the federal government, a job she has zero formal intelligence experience for. Think about that journey from endorsing Bernie Sanders to serving in Donald Trump's cabinet, from challenging the military-industrial complex to becoming part of the administration that bombed Iran, from anti-war progressive to Director of National Intelligence for the most hawkish administration in a generation. That's not evolution, that's a career move. She read the room, saw which way the wind was blowing, and repositioned herself for maximum personal benefit. The anti-war thing was an audition. The Trump cabinet was the role she was always going for. And the people who supported her, the anti-war voters, the progressives who thought she was different, me included, we were the audience. We bought the ticket. We cheered the performance. And when the show was over, she walked out the back door and into the limo. Wolf 3, Kyrsten Sinema. Yeah, there's Kyrsten Sinema, the most shameless grift of them all. Because at least Fetterman and Tulsi took a few years to flip, Sinema sped ran the betrayal. Let me take you through the timeline. Kyrsten Sinema started in the Green Party, the most progressive political party in America. She was an anti-war activist. She protested the Iraq War. She rose to prominence through progressive advocacy, LGBTQ rights, social justice, fighting the establishment. She ran for the House as a Democrat. Then she ran for the Senate as a moderate Democrat in 2018, promising Arizona voters she would fight for them. And she won. She became the first openly bisexual senator. Progressives celebrated. The LGBTQ community celebrated. Arizona Democrats, who hadn't won a Senate seat in decades, celebrated. And then she got to Washington and became a corporate lobbyist with the Senate vote. She single-handedly killed provisions to raise taxes on corporations and the wealthy. She protected the carried interest loophole that lets private equity managers pay lower tax rates than their secretaries. She blocked the filibuster reform that would have allowed Democrats to pass the voting rights legislation. She voted to confirm Trump's judicial nominees. Her voting record moved so far to the right that she was ranked more conservative than Republican Senators Susan Collins and Lisa Murkowski. She left the Democratic Party entirely, became an independent, and then didn't even run for re-election because she knew she'd lose. Because the voters who put her there realized they'd been conned. Green Party activist to corporate centrist to political ghost. That's not a career arc, that's a grift. She used progressive energy to get in the door, then served the people who wrote the biggest checks. And when the jig was up, she didn't even have the courage to face the voters she betrayed, and she just walked away. Now here's the pattern, because once you see it, you'll never miss it again. Step 1, they identify what the people want. Progressive energy, anti-war sentiment, working class anger, whatever's hot, whatever gets votes. Step 2, they package themselves as the answer, the hoodie, the outsider, the activist, the maverick. Step 3, they get elected on that energy, your money, your door knocking, your social media shares, your trust. Step 4, they serve a completely different master, corporate donors, foreign lobbies, the party establishment, whoever offers them the best deal. Step 5, when confronted, they gaslight you. I haven't changed, the party changed. I've always been this way. That's the playbook. And it works because we want to believe. We want our politicians to be who they say they are. We need to believe that our vote meant something. And these wolves exploit that need. So what do we do? How do we protect ourselves from the wolves? First, stop falling in love with politicians. Something I've had to learn. I've said it before and I'll say it until I'm blue in the face. They are not your friends. They are not your heroes. They are employees, your employees. And if an employee lies on their resume and then doesn't do the job, you fire them. Second, watch what they do, not what they say. Fetterman said, forgotten communities. He serves the military-industrial complex. Tulsi said anti-war. She serves in a war cabinet. Sinema said progressive. She served corporate donors. The words meant nothing. The actions told the truth. Third, stop making excuses for them. Oh, they evolved. Oh, the situation is complicated. Oh, you don't understand the nuance. No, when someone does a complete 180 from everything they promised you, that's not nuance. That's a con. The veil has been lifted on Fetterman, on Tulsi, on Sinema. They showed us who they really are. And as Maya Angelou said, when someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. Stop electing costumes. Start electing character. Stop voting for performance. Start voting for policy. And if they betray you, don't make excuses. Make them accountable. Beware of false prophets. You will know them by their fruits. And the fruits of these wolves are rotten to the core. Smoke doesn't rise to be seen. It rises because there's a fire underneath. Think for yourself, and you can quote me on that. If what you heard just hit you, don't treat it like background noise. Don't scroll past it. Follow the link in the description and subscribe to the Quote to Smoke podcast. Leave a comment too. Disagreement is welcome here. We talk, we listen. That's the point. No filter, just fire.